Marks, set, go! Okay, it's not Lotus 2. Today we are looking at Slicks on the Commodore 64 by Digital Design, aka Ash and Dave, released by Codemasters in 1992. And one of the rarer, I use that word advisedly, C64 games because it has something in common with Striker and the Crimson Trojan that I reviewed the other week, in that it's one of the last 8-bit Codemasters releases, and this is on the C64 only. So as it's an Ash and Dave game, of course, you got superb graphics and sound, a hallmark of their games. It's a Formula 1 game and you start off in a Benetton car. There's a 2-player mode, it's head-to-head, and it works exactly like Micro Machines, where if one of you races off the screen, it'll restart. So you start off and you have to qualify. There's about 8 courses, something like that, 9. So I am the car there, and we're in... is it Phoenix, this one? This was the same circuit as on Formula 1 Grand Prix, isn't it? Same USA circuit. Actually, this first circuit is one of the hardest in the game, I think. Because any wrong move and you will crash. Oh, you see, that's what happens. And you get 1 lap to qualify. And if you don't qualify, then you just end up at the end of, or the back of the grid. There are 5 other cars on the circuit they'll be racing against. McLaren, Williams, Brabham, Lotus and a Ferrari. Each with a named driver, e.g. Jody in the Ferrari. You can challenge a driver, so you have to finish above them and you'll get their car. But I'm going to start this USA Grand Prix at the back of the grid. I'm flashing. Off I go. I've got to watch myself because, as I say, this is, I think, one of the most difficult circuits in the game. And it's the one you get first. It's a Formula 1 game in that you have to get the most points across the season. There's not every circuit in the Formula 1 season. It is just, as I say, it's 8 or 9 or something like that. Just racing around here. The cars are very sensitive. They handle brilliantly once you get the hang of them. There is that initial, like any top-down racing game. Oh, I've crashed and died. I don't like this circuit. There's no margin for error. So Tony at Williams won that race, and I came last. So at Monaco for the second race, and I will have to qualify. A street circuit, so also quite unforgiving, but not as unforgiving as the USA circuit. But let's go to a more interesting circuit. And it's Silverstone, I think the best circuit in the game. It's at the 4th race, I think. So all I've got to do is qualify. And this one you can do pretty much flat out. And if you do 3/4 of the lap, I think it is, flat out, you get a small speed increase. And more than 3/4 of the lap flat out is quite difficult to do. At some point you have to slow down, but not at Silverstone. Oh yeah, there we go. That should be a decent qualifying time, I think. 4th? Oh, I suppose my car's not as fast, is it? Let's challenge someone. Let's challenge the Lotus driver. So all I have to do is finish above the Lotus. The Lotus driver is flashing to indicate it's the brown car. All I've got to do is finish above that and I will get a slightly faster car. The trick is, of course, to challenge a team that are better than you. Because if for example, I challenge the Ferrari, I will end up with a slower car. Other drivers can also challenge you. So again, if you don't win, you will end up in a slower car. But I'm 4th and I'm doing well. Relatively. Absolutely flat out, 206 miles an hour. Cut the corner there. Oh, messed up. Oh, once you lose the rhythm on Silverstone, This brings memories of games like Pole Position, but far more polished. I've seen some complaints from reviewers on Lemon 64 about the computer AI being pretty dodgy. Well, all these games don't have brilliant driver AI, do they, with the computer? They get in your way, they drive through you. It's a budget game, it's a small inconvenience. Alright, so I'm still fourth. Am I going to end up fourth? Will I? Well, I'm way ahead of that Lotus, so I'm going to get a faster car. Interesting to see how much faster that car will go than 206 miles an hour. I don't think there's any handling differences. I could be wrong. Anyway, you can't really see your number of laps in front of that car. Is it? I'm on 5 of 5? No, what? Oh, yeah, I finished. So I finished fourth. So I should be moving team. That worked out quite well. There we go. I am moving to Lotus. And important point, remember the colour of the new car as we go to Rio de Janeiro, Rio, land of sun, samba and wine. So now I'm a brown car. I mean, qualifying's important, but it's not the end of the world if you end up at last on the grid. It's really a chance to familiarise yourself with the circuit. So here we go. Quite a long circuit this from memory. With a big straight. And of course this isn't the circuit from the modern... Well, it's not the... Yeah, this doesn't look like the normal Formula 1 circuit. The one is an F1 GP. You know, with the big straight and then it was like curved straight. And then you go left and then there's the pits and you've got those weavy bits. Because of this, you go right on the pit lane. So where'd I come last, probably? Oh, yes. Well, not badly last, though. Didn't notice what my top speed is. We'll soon find out. I want to challenge anyone? There's no real risk in challenging someone unless they're a team beneath you. At which point you will gain, you know, they will gain your car if you lose. But a team above you won't want your car. So I'm going to challenge Mick at Brabham, and if I finish above the Brabham car, which should flash at some point, I will get that car. Right, it's the pink car, the pink-purple car. The pink car is actually the Ferrari. There we go. It's oh. So I can now go 213 miles an hour in my brown car. But I better stay on the circuit. Oh yeah, there's a big old speed difference there, isn't there? Look at that! Over the Ferrari and even the Benetton I had. Oh. Though I've got straight line speed, I'm still no better at the corners. And so you can't really crash into the other cars, but they will slow you down. Come on, right, I can overtake these two. Yes, right. No. Right, round the corner. Come on. This is such a great budget game. No Amstrad or C64 version. No ST or Amiga version either. Although on the Amiga, you do, of course, have Micro Machines, also by Codemasters. And you have to wonder how much Micro Machines was influenced by Slicks. Because, you know, you look at this and you go, actually, it feels pretty much like Micro Machines that came afterwards. I wonder if someone at Codemasters went, oh, when we come to do the Micro Machines game, we should do something a bit like Slicks in terms of a scrolling top-down racer. In that corner. Oh. I'm not going to finish in front of the other guy, am I? One more lap in my brown car. You see, when you got runoff, it's so much better than circuits like the USA circuit where you just crash into tyres and that's it. You can't, unless you go really wrong here, you can't really crash out and end the game or end the race. Reviews for this fantastic. Obviously, you know, It's a budget game, and the magazines absolutely love Slicks. As do I. I think it's pretty clear it's regarded as a classic game. A simple concept, really well implemented. So I came fourth. I didn't beat the Brabham. So I stay in my team. And that's the end of the game. That's all the circuits. You haven't seen all the circuits. There's about 8 of them, I think. But you stay in your car and you can cycle round again. So I'm in a Brabham racing around Monza on season 2. Right, so I've qualified third. And I've got a challenge against the Williams, which is flashing. Is that the Williams? Let's see which one it was. Anyway, I've got to beat him. It's quite a good idea to follow the cars and then copy what they do with the cornering and then get them on the straight. So he's slightly faster than me. Look at him. And this reminds you of Supercars 2 as well, doesn't it? With these twisty circuits. It's a much more modern racer, even though people say it's simplistic. I don't think this is simplistic. I think this is a fantastically addictive and very polished racing game. It's really something pretty special for $3.99. And if you want to buy a copy of this these days, then quite expensive, like Striker in the Crypts of Trojan is. I mean, that goes for silly money, and Slicks can go for silly money as well. Oh, that was nearly game over, or race over. You crashed into that tyre wall. Oh, I'm just not fast enough to challenge these cars on these faster circuits. Still, I think there's one more lap to go, isn't there? Oh, no! Well, that's race over. Slicks is a superbly polished racing game. It's not without its faults. Yes, the opponent car AI can be frustrating. Yes, it is a little bit simplistic, but this is a $3.99 budget game that gives you some of the thrills and spills that console and Amiga and PC owners would soon be having with micro machines. You're not seeing anything new here, but what you are seeing is something incredibly well done. And in this case, that counts for a lot. Brilliant tunes, smooth graphics. Again, the graphics are a little bit simplistic, doesn't matter. They move really smoothly. There's a challenge aspect to the game, a 2-player mode. Okay, that's quite a limited 2-player mode, but even so, this is a fantastic package of a game for $3.99. Of all the games Ash and Dave did, this is probably their crowning glory. And although you may not be able to afford to buy a copy, I strongly recommend you play Slicks. It's a fantastic racing game, especially for people who were later playing micro machines. It's simply superb.